So let's talk about it. Cowboys Nation, we are in the thick of things. A lot of people's spots aren't secure going into the 2025 season. So I thought to myself, let's talk about the various position battles to look at going into OTAs and beyond. And since OTA started this week, it's going to be very interesting who's going to rise up the depth charts. But before we get into the various position battles, can you drop me a like for this video, subscribe to the channel so I can keep giving you guys this Cowboys content. So I think one of the battles that I thought is going to be very, very interesting that isn't really getting a lot of buzz is who's going to be QB2 behind Dak Prescott. And the reason I asked that question is because obviously Dak Prescott came off season ending hamstring tear. There was the year that he broke his ankle. So a lot of people questioning Dak's health going into 2025. And I kind of understand it, but it is what it is. But we got to be just real that if Dak were to go down, what what are our options? We saw Cooper Rush, serviceable backup, not a starting quarterback. And I get, and I think the thing that kind of made me a little bit angry about the whole Cooper Rush thing is a lot of people said this is the guy that's going to take Dak's job. This is the guy that will get the Cowboys over the hump. And it's like, come on, did y'all watch Cooper Rush play? Mike McCarthy's offense was tailored to him, and he still didn't look that good in that offense. The guy that was super, super accurate, knew the scheme, struggled in it, and he had a run game. So he's over in Baltimore. Cowboys traded for Joe Milton, and they brought back Will Greer. And easy assumption is Will Greer is going to be the QB2 since he's the vet. And the last time we really saw him, he balled out for like 300 something yards in the preseason. But like we talked about, the Cowboys traded a fifth for Joe Milton, who they hope to develop. And he shows a lot of promise, has the big arm, has all the athleticism in the world, just needs to kind of clean up his game. And you never know, he could quietly usurp Will Greer. And it may not happen immediately. But again, we need to understand this is not Mike McCarthy's offense. Because if it was, I would easily say Will Greer because Mike McCarthy had this weird obsession with vets. Like, oh, vets, you need to lead the way. You have the job. That's the hierarchy. I don't care about any of that. And hopefully Shoddy doesn't either. Because this is a new scheme, a newer scheme, a more modern scheme that if Milton does his job properly, can really, really take advantage of that. And he can jump over Will Greer as a starter, especially since he wants to be in Dallas. And then there's a lot of hope that he can be the heir apparent to Dak Prescott. If Dak were to trend down or for whatever reason get older, Cowboys say, okay, we got our guy, Joe Milton. So there's a huge incentive for him to really solidify his spot early. So again, I don't put it past Joe Milton to be not only gunning for that QB2 job, but even going into training camp. If he picks up the offense, really shows that, okay, I want to be good in this system. I'm not worried about the vet. I want to be the guy that's next up. So that's something I'm going to be definitely looking forward to. Will Greer versus Joe Milton. So another interesting position battle that I personally will be watching and hope the younger guys win is the safety position. Um, I've been out on Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson for a long time now. And unfortunately, the Cowboys don't value safety, just like they don't value one tech. So they just let guys that have been there kind of stay there. They don't really bring in competition or kind of push them out. They're just like, oh, we paid you. Oh, we're going to wait till your contract's up and then we're going to let you walk out. And that's how they treat a safety position. But for me, safety is so important, especially in this modern NFL, because if your safeties are not that good, teams will find a way to take advantage of you. We're playing nickel, so they're going to get your safeties one on one eventually, especially if it's on a third down. Their tight end or wide receiver three will cook you if you don't take care. They'll just spread the ball out, and Cowboys ran a lot of man. I don't know if they'll still do something like that under Eberflus, but it puts your safeties in a position to cover. And we saw under Dan Quinn, yes, guys like Malik Hooker, you just have him deep, and then Donovan Wilson kind of roam around and just run towards the ball. But we saw that that scheme was very, very lacking. So when these guys had to play against better offenses, they got exposed most of the time. Because if the pass rush didn't hit home, they were on an island. And almost every single time, they either got burnt or first down. And I got tired of seeing that over and over and over again. It's like, let's get quality safeties. And honestly, I think both safety positions are up for grabs. Um, so I hope the Cowboys really have the mindset that we need to try to upgrade these guys. And I get it. You invested money into Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, but they've been liabilities. And it's gotten to the point that it's doing more harm than good. I'm glad that they gave Marquise Bell money, Wanye Thomas money. That tells me that those guys have a shot to win those jobs. We can rotate Malik and Hooker when those guys get tired, or you can find a way to use them. I don't care. But either way, the Cowboys need to use the young guys that you invested all this money into and have fresher legs. Like I said, I was officially done with Hooker and Wilson when I saw during that Saints game they let Rashid Shaheed score a 70-yard touchdown, blowing past both of them. They were both deep. They saw him coming, and he still blew past both of them. They were watching him the whole time. I mean, after that, I was just like, man, I'm done with these guys. Y'all can't cover. Y'all not fast. You're just one trick pony. So Cowboys just need to rip off the bandage and don't force these coaches to try to make these older vets successful. So it just is what it is. We've gotten to the point where we got to rip the bandage off and move on. Give Bell, Thomas, even McQuamu, give them opportunities to win the starting safety jobs, and then just go from there. But if you're relying on Hooker and Tom and Wilson and saying, "Oh, coaches make it work," well, it's gonna be a long season. I can tell you that. I think this last position battle for me is probably the most interesting because we don't know what's going to happen. And the position I have my eye on is wide receiver three. For me, this battle is going to be pivotal in order for the Cowboys to be successful. So, whoever that guy is needs to get open consistently. And for me, it will make or break Schottenheimer's scheme. Because depending on who this guy is, you're going to need that third option to get open consistently, especially if you're going to go against the more inferior corner or linebacker. And the reason I say that is because the more options you have, the less pressure that's going to be on Dak. And so Dak doesn't have to force certain throws in the middle of the field against the slot or the linebacker. That that option should always, or more than likely, almost always be open. And the three guys that will be fighting for this spot, in my opinion, are going to be Tolbert, Mingo, and Turpin. For me personally, I would just hands down give this position to Turpin and not look back because I believe the Cowboys. Well, the reason I would give it to Turpin is because of how dynamic he is with his speed. But unfortunately, I think because the Cowboys and because of Dak's relationship with Tolbert, Tolbert will get that early opportunity to get this spot. But I just think when push comes to shove, Turpin's speed, his explosiveness, will make him the clear winner in the end because he's something that the Cowboys really haven't had in a passing um, scheme. Because you could see Mark McCarthy, he doesn't like guys like Turpin. He just likes big old wide receivers running up the field and turning around and catching the ball. But DBs was sitting on that all day, and you weren't really using Turpin to his to what made him scary. You didn't use him in that way. So I just felt Mike McCarthy's mentality was very, very limited in his approach on how to use wide receivers. He had this generic way of this is what wide receivers do. Doesn't matter. You can swap in, swap out. He didn't tailor his offense to his players, which again is part of the reason I got tired of Mike McCarthy and said, I don't care. I need somebody else to call plays. We cannot win consistently doing stupid stuff like this because come playoff time, like we saw in Green Bay, teams are going to sit on those routes and they're going to look at you like, all right, you really want to throw it here? Bet we got you. 1, 2, 3, boom. We're going to time that route. Oh, you going to throw out? Cool. We're going to come after you. Pass rush doesn't have to hit home, but you only have so much time with that O line. Now, throw the ball. I dare you, or take that sack. But going back to the wide receivers, I think for me the option that is a super super wild card is Mingo, and I think he's going to get used more in this offense from outside perspective for blocking purposes. But I feel wide receiver 3 is more so the last option, obviously, when the two guys, Pickens and Lamb, aren't open. Then we need to have that person that can get open consistently across the middle. We need that clear advantage. But again, I believe it's going to be Tolbert's job to lose. And eventually, I think he's going to lose it to Turpin because just the matchup problem Turpin is going to give is just going to be crazy. Unless Turpin falls off or something happens, which I doubt will. But even Mingo looks explosive. So I think those guys are going to really push Turpin down the depth chart. But I think Turpin is going to get more of an opportunity than he should just because he's Dak's guy. But it is what it is. I think Mingo, he's going to field time. But again, his versatility, Turpin's versatility will propel him up the depth chart. But easily we know who the big dogs are, and that's CeeDee and Perkins. So, man, it's going to be interesting what the Cowboys do for sure. So that's all I got, Cowboys Nation. OTAs have started this week, and it's going to be interesting to see who emerges as the starter. And in this way too early process in putting together a roster, I still have more battles to talk about. So be on the lookout for those videos when they drop. I think the Cowboys have a roster that can be competitive. So we need to see the iron sharpening the iron process. We need to see how it plays out. We'll see who makes to the top of the depth chart. It's gonna be an interesting one. So a lot of really cool matchups that are going on, and Cowboys Nation, man, we have a long time before things really start picking up, but it's going to be interesting how things play out for sure. Last thing I got to say is remember to chase your goals no matter what. You'll look weird because you are the only person running, but who cares? Because when you succeed, everyone will be chasing you. Again, that's my time. I'm Mecca Mike. And for all the socials, that is MECCHA Mike. And I'm out.